And good morning. Welcome to Brothers Market on the square here in Oskaloosa at 118 South Main Street. Call 641-622-2191. We are doing the sports section live from Brothers Market in Sigourney, Iowa. Make sure you download the Brothers Market digital app for some great deals there. We're going to jump right into it now with our guest host for today, Mr. Eddie Conrad, along with, we're going to be talking Sigourney soccer this morning. Eddie, why don't you kick us off this morning?
Good morning, Steve. Good morning, boys. Unfortunately, you guys have to look at my face today, not just hear my voice over the stream, so bear with us,
Because, of course, you were one of the Keota basketball announcers for this past season. So, yeah, glad to have you on the air, Eddie.
Yeah, a little shout-out to the Keota boys. Way to go this season. Couldn't be happier with the way that turned out. Today we got the SK soccer coaches here. I'm going to let them introduce themselves. Go ahead.
Alex Holt. You want me to tell you my job and all that?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Kind of tell me kind of where you kind of grew up at, what brought you to soccer, and what your position is with the soccer team.
So yeah, Alex Holt. This is my first year coaching soccer. My first year actually teaching social studies at the high school over at Sigourney Junior and Senior High there. Well, I guess grew up kind of. My family's originally from Sigourney, and just kind of made my way back here over time. But yeah, just coach a lot of high school activities and athletics, and I guess soccer is just another one to add to the list there.
I'm Tim Schneider. I'm from Fort Madison originally. I played soccer in William Penn, and that's kind of what brought me here to town. I've spent probably the last 4 or 5 years with Christy Oathbaker. Shout out to her. She's one of my personal heroes. She's a big reason soccer takes place anywhere in town. She got me involved with the junior high team, kind of a traveling team thing, and yeah, a lot of the kids we had then are actually on the team now, so that's going to work out really well for us, I think.
Yeah, so soccer here in the Sigourney and Keota areas is a fairly new thing. When did it start, Alex?
So 2021 was the first official season, but it was a JV sanctioned season. And then 2022 was the first varsity, competition. So this would be the third season that we're about to go into. So they've had 2 actual seasons.
What do they say? Third time's a charm. Maybe we're gonna have a great season this year, right?
That's right.
So relatively new. Kind of the only thing we've had in the community is youth soccer, which ends at 7th grade or 6th grade, I guess.
6th grade.
6th grade, yeah.
And so, what has it taken to kind of get the excitement, the interest, get kids interested in going out for soccer here in the SK area?
Okay. Yeah, it hasn't taken quite a bit. Like you said, our youth league is actually pretty big. We draw in a lot of kids, but like we talked about before, there's kind of a gap between 7th and 8th grade and on the junior high. And so actually the last few years we've put together a traveling team when we've had the numbers. Like I said, that's how I got started with the Venom traveling team. And this last year we actually had a U12 traveling team, and they'll kind of move up and do the junior high thing and still playing in town. So, yeah, that's kind of how we're going to bridge that gap between the two.
So it sounds like you guys are doing a great job of building a solid foundation for soccer in the community. Where do you guys practice at? I know that we have track going on and golf, and so there's a little limited space for you guys. Where are you guys practicing right now?
So we are actually on Adair Street, out kind of towards the sale barn. There's kind of a patch of land there that they use for event overflow parking for football or basketball games, and that parking area is our practice field. You'll see goals out there. Actually, Tim and was it Brad Black got them out. And we got a bunch of people that help out too, and extra help is always a big plus.
We got a lot of it.
Yeah.
Hey, Steve, what's that movie, The Big Green? Is that the movie where they got a backyard soccer team?
Phenomenal movie. One of my
Yes.
favorite films as a boy.
I just rewatched that the other day, so this is fitting that we're talking about, where we're going to practice. And okay, so you guys practice on this. It can't be the size of a real soccer field. You guys kind of have to figure out all of that.
Yes, we have to do a lot of imagining kind of where this is going to take place on an actual field. And Tim actually came up with a pretty good solution. You want to tell them about that?
Sure. Yeah, we don't have even enough kids to do a full field practice anyway. So there's a lot of specific drills where you kind of not necessarily divide the field in half, but that's kind of the concept. And it's a lot about ball movement, kids moving around, getting open and passing the ball, and that kind of takes place everywhere on the field. So if we can do it in a small area, the idea is that translates out onto the full field.
That's exciting. So you guys have been practicing for a bit here. When's the first game you guys are going to have?
So we have a scrimmage coming up Thursday, and where's it? Williamsburg. Sorry, it's early in the morning. My brains. And then the following week, I believe Tuesday and Thursday that following week we got games. We're on the road a lot to begin the season, and then I don't think we have our first home game until like mid-April. But so a lot of road games to begin the season.
And they're playing their home games at the Snake Pit. So if anybody wants to come and watch them this year,
Is that the name of the football field?
Oh yeah, Cobra Field and the Snake Pit.
Oh,
you better come to a
nice,
Friday
yeah.
night football game and just be a part of that.
I'm not a football guy, but I could pretend for the evening.
Is there any players you guys got coming out that have been a part of it? I know this is your first year coaching that have been a part of it since it's been, what would you say, 2022? What players are we looking at as standouts? Who do you expect to see good things from this year? I know you don't try to play favorites as a coach, but just give us some names here.
Well, and I'm going to let Timmy here take. That seems to be the theme. But Tim's coached a lot of these guys before, so he's got a good pulse on it. But we've talked a lot about a few of these guys. But go ahead,
Sure.
Tim.
Yeah, I think up front the people to look for Chase Hafley from Keota. I think he was probably on the basketball
Half-court
team.
Hafley, that's
Is
my
that-
boy.
Is that
That's
it?
my
Okay.
boy.
All right, yeah, he's, again, in soccer, he's a goal scorer. He's one to watch out for up front. In the midfield, we have quite a bit of talent. Jackson Vidito from Keota. He's got a lot of field vision. He's good at making passes. He's good with the ball at his feet.
Got good touch on
Yeah.
the ball, too.
Gavin Colley, he's got speed. He plays out on the wing. He's got a lot of skill. I think Ashton Galindo, I think we call him Gil, just to
Yeah.
shorten it up for fun. But I think we're going to end up with him out on the wing, and he can really run and jump. And if we can get him to get the ball skills figured out, he's going to be pretty dangerous out there.
And he's gonna. I bet you he has a good track season for Keota too. So he's one of the kids that's
Yeah.
doing both, and he's a good athlete.
Yeah, he's going to do well either way. As far as defense goes, Addie Perkypile from Keota as well. She's kind of our anchor in the middle of the field. She knows what's going on, and she keeps an eye on everybody back there. At least that's the idea once we start out in the games. Who else? A lot of the players that I've coached
Ty
before.
Goldman
Yeah, Ty Goldman's
on
also
defense.
really good. He'll probably be
Or,
in the midfield as
midfield,
well.
yeah.
Wells Clark is playing goalie. He didn't get a lot of playing time last year because I think the goalie was a senior. He's gonna be in there, and he's a bit of a wildcat. That's exactly what you want in a goalkeeper.
Hey, I got to see Wells Clark kick some footballs out there that last fall, and I think what he said was, "Hey, coach, I'm here to kick."
Yeah.
So you guys keep teaching him how to kick. and I'll be happy.
I've heard that story.
So it'd be interesting to note that not all teams are co-ed in the area, but Sigourney Keota is a co-ed team. What are the exciting parts of it, the challenges of coaching a co-ed team? Because there's not a lot of co-ed sports out there, in a high school level, I guess.
Well, I guess you just got your normal issues you deal with that, but I mean, for the most part, I mean, how many girls? 3 girls are out right now. You got Rihanna Utterback, Addie, Dakota, and that's it. So I guess we don't really have the numbers to have it be something that's really,
Everybody kind of gels together and
Yeah,
they work
the-
well. That's good.
and the girls we got really hard workers, and I mean with the numbers we got, everybody's playing.
Yeah.
We got a lot of playing time, and
That's a good thing for a small school. You don't want to go out on a team and sit on a bench, and as long as you show a little bit of excitement, a little bit of vigor, like basketball court, she just gets in there and she's very active, very scrappy. Yes, I like watching that in Rihanna. Obviously, I think she's on the
Miss Gable wrestling.
yeah.
correct.
Some sort of wrestling.
One of those things, Steve.
Yes.
Sorry
Correct.
if you're watching, Rihanna.
Correct.
I'm not a big wrestling person, but congrats to you in the wrestling season.
Yes,
But yeah,
congratulations.
a co-ed team, very young coaching staff, very young team. I guess soccer in general is very young in the area.
Yeah. Well, and the team's freshmen and sophomores for the most part.
Okay.
A couple juniors, right? 2 or 3 juniors.
Something like that.
So a young team.
That's
too.
exciting for someone like you who's coming into your first year coaching. It's good to have young players. So you plan on building them up over the years. And then, like you said, you were before the interview began. I was asking them, with track and with golf, how do they, draw players? But it sounds like you guys are, hey, go run track, go golf, come and play soccer with us. Tell us a little bit about how you approach that.
Yeah, for sure. I'm of the philosophy, the more activities kids are involved in, the better. That just seems like a natural concept to me. So if that means splitting time, I know we got a couple of the freshmen and Wells, Owen Clark, Liam, Van Voltenberg, they bowl also. There's every now and then, every couple weeks, they got a day where they're going to go and practice bowling. And we got track kids.
We have a few
Utterback-
trap shooting guys as
trap
well.
shooting, and then Utterback's wrestling still, and here and there. I know there's some games in April that she's going to have to miss for that, and we look at it as we're going to be as accommodating as possible. If we're going to build keep building a soccer program, we have to be able to work alongside with the other programs too, and kind of because our success, their success, success breeds more success is the way I look at it. So,
Well, Steve, if you have any other questions for
I've
this
got
gentleman.
actually one more thing I was going to throw at you guys. I don't know how far back you go with your history with Sigourney Sports here, but I know Alan Sellers. Alan has his hands in about everything sports youth related here in Sigourney. But I know Alan's had a pretty good youth program with the little kids going for years. Has he been any help to you guys with the high school program?
oh, for sure, he's always. I mean, he's one of those guys. I mean, I know you've worked a lot with him.
Yeah, I mean, he's been a huge help, like you said, especially doing the youth program. I mean, that was already, by the time Christy and I kind of took over the last couple of years, he has it all set up. It's all ready to go and done, pretty much taken care of. It's just a matter of, I say doing the paperwork, but again, I was not involved in any of that. I did not organize
probably
anything.
Christy,
That was all Christy.
Yeah.
She just told me what time and where to be, and that was where I showed up.
Awesome.
Yeah, hey, again, we'll shout out to Al. I'm
Yep.
trying to do my best job filling in for you, you and Bruce. Sorry if I'm not living up to the standards, but yes, shout out to Alan Sellers. If you don't know him, any kind of activity in this town, sports related, anything, he's been involved. He's a great part of the community. Way to go, Alan Sellers.
All right. Well, guys, I think we'll wrap this section up of the sports section. We're glad that Alex and Tim could be part of the show this morning. You guys are more than welcome to hang out here. We got Coach Jensen that's going to be coming in next, and we are taking a look now at our screen where our Athlete of the Week will be starting back up, as we've had the last few weeks off with the Athlete of the Week, and we're going to be bringing that back as we get into the spring sports season. We're talking soccer, we're talking track this morning, Golf will be getting up and going here pretty quick. Keokuk County Hospital and Clinic's Athlete of the Week will be getting that poll up and running. And then also something new that we're going to be starting is the Kelly Style State Farm Team of the Week. As she's wanting to get more involved with our area sports program. So we'll have a Team of the Week from Kelly Style. We'll have the Athlete of the Week from the Keokuk County Hospital and Clinics. So we'll get those polls up and running, I believe, on Monday. Be on the lookout for that. All right, let's go back to Eddie. He's got Coach Jared Jensen hanging out. Eddie, take it away.
Good morning. How you doing, Coach?
I'm doing great, Eddie.
You're one of those guys, and a lot of the community is like this. If I have a coach anywhere, I will never call you by your real name. It will always be, hey, Coach, how you doing? Okay, you're still coaching track. Little backstory. He was my coach my junior and senior year. He just started coaching here in Sigourney, and that was when I started to decide that track was pretty much the only thing I was good at. So,
No.
But, all right, Coach, I know you've been on here before. Introduce yourself and tell us, kind of a little bit about how the track season's starting right now. Practice, game, track meets, whatever.
Well, I'm not going to let you out that easy. This guy right here was, he didn't really run the 400 hurdles until
Senior year.
Yeah, until his senior year, and that's a race that we just didn't have anybody that really wanted to do it. It's a race that really takes guts and heart, and he jumped in and ran at one meet, and I think we knew, like, all right, hey, we got something going here, and by the end of the season, he was just mowing people down, and I would always be just so worried because he'd be the slowest one to the 200 mark, and I'm like,
a dog 250 and sprint 150.
Yeah, I'm like, he's never going to catch these guys, and by the second to last or the last hurdle, he's catching and blowing past them. So this guy was a fun one to watch out there. Made it to state. That year we had a ton of guys.
I think we had 12. All seniors made it to the state in one or two different events. So that was
they that was only my second year. I really had no idea what I was doing track wise, but these guys helped me along. Great group. But I'm Coach Jensen. I obviously coach football. Junior high, I previously I did junior high girls basketball. Moved over to junior high boys a couple years ago when they couldn't find a coach. Well, actually, I did both during the split season, and then just ventured over to the boys side, which I love because the junior high kids obviously get to know me during PE and school, but I feel like I'm a different animal when it comes to sports than what you might see in school, and so it's good for them to get an idea who I am and what I'm about before they get into high school. And then obviously the third season is track, and we're in full swing right now. We've had some pretty good weather, typical to normal years, where you're inside running halls and all that. But we've kind of transitioned this first 4 or 5 weeks into we're in a metabolic period in the weight room, and really just get after it. We spend 3 days a week, 2 sets to failure on 5 different lifts, really just trying to pack on, as much muscle mass as possible, working fast, no time in between. So, we might not be out running as much, but we're getting cardio in there from you're just pumping until you can't pump anymore. Your partner goes in, does the same thing, and then you're right back up. And, we've seen a lot of benefits there. Not necessarily putting the miles on our legs early in the year when you're maybe not able to get on the track as much or whatnot. Running halls just is not, I don't think, very good for you. But we spend that time just trying to build ourselves, build the foundation, and really try to put that mass on and then start running with it. And we've seen in the past, the first half of the meets were not as fast as we could be. But the second half, when everybody else has kind of hit that peak and is kind of trending downward, I feel like we're hitting our peak when it really matters. And, so it's been a good 3 weeks now. We've been 3 weeks in, and just Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we're hammering the weight room pretty hard after school, and then after that we'll get a little running in. But your legs are pretty well shredded, and but Tuesday, Thursdays are our days out on the track, really running and trying to just get that cardio in, work on that speed. So we start first meet Monday. And
where's that going to be at, Coach?
It's the Grinnell Indoor at the Grinnell College Fieldhouse.
Is that a 200 indoor?
Yep, 200 indoor. So the events are a little different. Nothing with 100 is involved. There is a 60 and a 60 hurdles, but there's no 4x1s or a sprint med that has a 100. Everything's basically 200 and on. So it's a good meet. I mean, it's tough to gauge. Kids got to go around the lap, for a 400, go around. I run this,
I remember battling. We went to a central indoor meet, and we were running against some Pekin kids, and they had some kids that were pretty big. And we were running the 400, and you're basically sideways on the inside turn, and this kid's probably a foot taller than me, and you get the elbows in because you're really not in your own lanes.
Right.
So, yeah, those indoor meets, I'm sure, are tough on the kids. But, no, and it's funny because you were talking about how a lot of in track, a lot of teams peak in the middle and then they kind of die off. Whereas it's not like football where your record matters.
Right.
Track, you want to be the best running athlete you are at the end when you get into districts, when you get into conference, all of that stuff. Anything to make it on the state. I mean, I know a lot of kids want to get into Drake, which is a mid-season, but a lot of those kids are already they have their marks set.
Right.
So
right. A lot of those kids they wake up out of bed without training and they're probably already on their way to state. They just have that ability.
Yep.
We've got some good runners. We've got some fast kids, but that Drake's a whole nother level. And we've had a few guys make it in the past. Avery Moore had been there a couple times, and kind of doing the same thing. So if you're fast enough, you're going to be fast enough to make it, regardless of how much you've got running in and early in the season. But it's. We're just trying to build athletes, really. I mean, we've got some successful ones that have shown, whether it's cross country or track, that we can be successful, and we've got everybody back from last year's team. And then added a few more, and we're just excited about getting this thing rolling.
Yeah. Coach Holt was on here right before you, and he was talking about how he encourages kids to play as many sports as possible, because the more experience you get in every aspect, you're going to learn something new from every coach you play with. I'm sure you grew up playing a bunch of sports. You're the same way. So I think that's good that all the coaches in the area are on the same page as that. I'm sure that you're going to have some track kids that want to play golf or soccer. How do you kind of look at that?
You just hope they're willing to do both. If they understand what it takes to be a successful athlete. I've got a couple that were on kind of the wire. I got them talked into it. I just stress the importance of, and not even just for football, any sport, baseball, soccer, softball, basketball. I mean, you've got to be as quick and as fast as you can possibly be to just be able to compete with other people. And track's the one sport that you are constantly competing against your best all the time. Not too many other sports are you on a full dead sprint. Well, that's the only way to get faster. So, I try to use it as a tool. Like, I get it. Hey, I'm absolutely fine. I got two that are golfing and running track. Isaac Bruns and Ike Molnix. I know both of them love golf, and just happy that they're also understanding the importance of getting out and being still a part of a team on the track, and making themselves better for the next sport they play. Whether that's like in baseball, hitting a single and getting a first every time because you are the fastest guy out there, turning singles into doubles, doubles into triples, all those type of things. So, you just try to work with them. I know there's quite a few, the Kyoto boys that are also playing soccer, but they're running track as well. So, that's what we want. And in small schools, there's a lot of opportunities during the spring. I mean, every other season, you're kind of limited, obviously. And for boys, and in the fall it's football or cross country. You know, volleyball or cross country for the girls. You know, in the winter, okay, you know, you add bowling in the mix, so there's kind of 3 sports there. You know, spring, track, golf,
trap shooting,
soccer. So
Yeah,
you know, you got 4
activities.
activities. So you just have to share. I mean, you got to be willing. Hopefully all coaches are in it for the kids, and you know, like I sat down with Ike because he was just wondering, you know, kind of how this would all work, and I said, man, we can map out the days of, you know, when you want to go golf, when you want to go to track. You know, if they're on the same night, obviously you got to make the decision. But if they're not on the same night, we can make it. You know, we can all make it work. And you know, I'm not going to keep you here till 5:30 and then expect you to go to track practice. Let's get in, get done what we need done, and then and then head out to golf practice. You know, so you know, you just got to be flexible, work with the kids. You know, I think it's easier to share with you know, track's a team sport, but it's an individual sport.
I was
you
just,
know,
I was
for the
just thinking
most part.
the same thing. It's you know, you have to give your best, and you're gonna go on one-on-one. It's almost like wrestling. It's one-on-one, but it's a team.
Absolutely.
You know, cumulative score, I guess, and then you have your relays, which you have to rely on. But yeah, and like you were saying, we're a small community. We have some dang good athletes for being a small area. We have athletes that can play any sport, and it's
Absolutely.
When I was growing up, getting out and into college, you know, people are like, "Oh, what'd you play?" And I was like, "Oh, I played this. I did this. I was in theater." And they're like, "How did you do all that?" I said, "If you didn't go out for a sport, you had nothing to do because everybody else was going out for the sport. You had no friends to hang out
Absolutely.
with." So it's
Absolutely.
really, I think it makes a well-rounded individual who plays every sport. And like I was saying, like, you learn so much from every coach you are encountered with, you know? Competitiveness. That's how I learned from this guy. I had a little bit more passion, but competitiveness, this guy, second to none. So
Yeah. Well, I think, you know, different sports create different, you know, problems for you, and whether it's mental problems or physical problems or the inability to do something. And, you know, I think the more sports you do, the more well-rounded you're going to be to battle adversity, to, you know, okay, I've done this in this sport, I've battled this in this sport. You know, this was a different type of battle in this sport, but, you know, it's all making you a better person, better athlete. And, you know, if you're not battling adversity when you're young, when you get out to the real world, you're absolutely going to be lost.
yeah. Well, thanks for talking a little bit about that. I want to kind of get into who we're going to see on the track, kind of what events we want to be looking for. Obviously, as a coach, you can't play favorites. I said that to the soccer coaches, but, you know, who are we looking for this year on the track?
I'll just go down the roster, and I wrote them out just so I didn't leave anybody out. We got one lone senior, Jake Moore. You know, but if there's one kid that you could have on the team, it'd be him. I mean, he's just a worker. He understands what it takes to be successful, and he puts pressure on other kids to get themselves there as well. I mean, he's just a leader. So I'm glad he came back out. You know, it's kind of a trend in track. You know, you hit your senior year, and then a lot of kids just kind of back off. And I absolutely understand. You're getting towards the end. You're focusing on, you know, what's the next part of my life. But glad Jake's out for us. He's been our leader up to this point, and you know, I'll just continuing to do a great job. We've got 6 juniors out. 5 of the 6 are returning from last year's team. So Caden Clarahan, Brady Clark, Ashton Schwab, Jaden Thompson, Kalo O'Rourke, but he was injured last year with a back issue and just wasn't able to really compete. So we're going to be able to get him back out there. And then Isaac Bruns is back out. He went out his freshman year, golfed his sophomore year, back out his junior year. So we're excited to get him back out and use, you know, his speed and agility to be successful, as whether it's as an individual, as a part of a relay, you know, for us this year. 7 sophomores out, 5 of them are returning from last year's team. Troy Collette, Wyatt Weir, Braden Wood, Colt Reed, Owen Minky, and then Aiden Parker was not able to go out last year because of a knee injury. He's back out this year, and then John Berg is out this year, but he's been dealing with some health issues the past few weeks here, so he hasn't necessarily been with us. But you know, we were in contact the other day, and he was going to another appointment, and you know, I was just wondering, man, is he even going to be able to come back? And he said, hey, while we're in Iowa City, we're going to stop and get some track shoes. So you know, he's excited, and I'm glad to have him out. I think he's one of those kids that you know, in football, you didn't see it on Friday nights, but Monday nights, JV-wise, Kid just is a ball hawk.
He can
just
catch the ball.
Yeah, whether it's defense, offense,
Yep.
he finds the ball, and I just started noticing how rangy he was in football when the ball was in the air, and then get to basketball season and probably the smallest center in the conference, but I mean, just
Rebounding
absolutely
machine.
on the
Rebounding
boards.
machine.
I mean, just he's got it, and I'm glad he decided to go off the track. I mean, last year he didn't, and he played football, played basketball, and that was about it. But I think he realizes how successful he can be if he continues to progress, and we're just excited to have have him back. Just wanting him to get back into the swing of things so we can take a look at him. And then we have 4 freshmen on board: Ike Molnix, Carson O'Rourke, Chase Clarahan, and Aiden Epper. So I think that was I think we've got 18 out, 19 actually, I think. We're excited. I mean, I think your senior year we had 27 out.
We had 12 seniors, which was
Yeah.
unheard of.
And that was the most I've ever had out on the track team, and I think we saw the success that can be had when you have numbers, and that's kind of where we've been in the past few years with our numbers. I mean, 12 to 15-ish. 4 of them are typically throwers, so you get okay, now you got 4 maybe distance guys and a handful of sprinters, and just being able to piece things together. I feel like we'd have 3 guys, maybe in a relay that like, okay, we just need to find that 4th, and the guy that steps in does everything he can, but maybe just isn't as fast as the next guy, and it kind of leaves you out. But I think with the numbers we have and the kids we have, we've got the ability to put a ton of sprint relays together that are very, very effective. We kind of just focused on that 4x1, or we didn't have too many guys that could really run a consistent 2 fast enough to really warrant challenging in the 4x2 distance medley. We had the distance part of it. Struggled to find those 200 guys, but I think coming into this year with the guys we have coming back, some guys decided hey, I'm going to transition and maybe run a little more of this distance of events, and I'm excited to see what these guys do, because I think all 18, you take the throwers off there, we've got probably 14 sprinters, and I feel like they're not all at the same speed, but I think obviously we've got more bodies to work with and be able to just mix things around and see what works best for us. So excited to see. I think last year was kind of a precursor. We knew it. We were young, no seniors. Jake was the only junior. The rest were sophomore and freshman. Well, now our junior and sophomore class, 13 of the 18 or 19 we have are in that group. So, a year older, a year better, a year faster, a year stronger, and we're just excited to see what they're going to do Monday night.
So I got to ask one last question for you, just because this is where I come from. Hurdlers. You got any 400 hurdlers, any shuttle hurdlers? Because my name's still up on the board
Yep.
for the shuttle hurdle, which obviously I don't want anybody to bring it down, but man,
Right.
it'd be cool if somebody broke some records.
To run the shuttle hurdle,
We had a fight. We had like 6
yeah.
shuttle
Yep.
guys, and we had to.
Yep.
Anyway,
So we haven't ran the shuttle. I think 2 years ago we put a shuttle hurdle team together. They were not hurdlers. They just ran and jumped them. But at that point you're trying to find points for the overall team race, and there was 3 or 4 teams signed up in it. So I'm like, hey, we're going to get points. But no, we haven't had any challenging ones up to this point. But I think this year we've got like Aiden Epper, Caden Clarahan, Chase Clarahan. I'm trying to think who our other.
I think Bruce was telling me there's an O'Rourke
maybe
boy.
Carson O'Rourke.
Might be an O'Rourke boy that wants to run the 4, but it sounds like there's a young, exciting team this year. A little bit more people out, maybe fill some spots for some points. hopefully we can get you back on here towards districts and conference.
Absolutely.
If Steve's let you, and we'll see what happens there. I'm going to send it back to you,
Absolutely.
Steve.
All right,
If I
thank
let
you
you.
guys.
Coach Jensen, thank you for coming in this morning. I know your weekends are busy this time of the year, so appreciate you making time to come
Absolutely.
in for
Thank
the
you.
sports section. While we transition here between segments, we're taking a look at the digital app for Brothers App. Make sure you download the digital app and take advantage of the great deals that they've got going on. You can see there on your screen. It's kind of a rough picture. We got some deals going on with, let's see here, Blue Bunny Premium Ice Cream. You can save some money there. You got some Reese's Premium Potato Salad and the Johnsonville Breakfast Patty or Links. Some special deals going on with the digital app for Brothers Markets. Make sure you take advantage of that. Hey, also want to bring up the Pick'ems standings. Now we're into a new season with the Pick'ems here on the sports section, and Coach Hobbs is going to be our regular host. And yes, she didn't know that I was going to bring up a old picture from the past from her days as an Iowa State Cyclone. So there you see Coach Hobbs in her Cyclone glory, and then over on the right of the screen you see me in my middle school Sigourney glory shooting a free throw. So it's a lot of fun there. I didn't do so hot last week in the Pick'ems. In fact, our guest picker got the most right. There were 7 games to pick from. The guest picker picked 5. Hobbs had 4, and I just had a lousy 2. So I'm way back there, getting off to a slow start on the Pick'ems. Now, this week, obviously, we don't have Jenny Hobbs with us this week. Eddie, you're going to be our guest picker. Hobbs has sent in our games that we're going to be picking, and so you'll be the guest picker. Hobbs has sent in her picks, and I'll also give my picks. But our first game of the day that Jenny has picked for us today, some of these are some doozies. The first game, though, is we're going with what will be the last Pac-12 championship basketball game for the men. We've got Oregon versus Colorado. Now, Hobbs has Oregon. Who do you think, Eddie? Oregon or Colorado?
I think I might have to go Big O. Let's go Ducks.
The Big O. Quack, quack. I have no idea on this. Other than watching Iowa and their mediocre season, I didn't really watch a whole lot of college basketball. I'll go against the grain with you guys. I'll go with Colorado. Next game. Big Ten men's semifinal. Of course, the semifinal is going to be held today for the Big Ten. Nebraska versus Illinois. Hobbs has Nebraska. What do you think, Eddie?
I can't believe, as an Iowa State girl, that she picked Nebraska. That is
kind of blasphemy.
That is blasphemy. That is sacrificial there. I'm going to go Illinois. Shout out to Rich Nitz in Port Byron, Illinois, who has a big Illini wood carving in his garage.
I will also go with Illinois. I think Illinois will beat Nebraska. We'll just stick there in the Big Ten. The other semifinal is Purdue and Wisconsin. Hobbs has Purdue. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm going to go Purdue. Edie is just too big of a challenge underneath.
That guy's just a monster. He's
huge.
unreal.
He's huge.
This is crazy. I will also go with Purdue, so we'll make it a Purdue sweep for our picks. Now Hobbs has us going to the Ivy League, of all places. Yale versus Cornell in the Ivy League semifinal. Why are we picking the Ivy League? I don't know.
I feel like I have to have my pinky out for this one, be all, fancy.
Yes.
I think I'm going to go with Yale today.
Well, let's have a cup of tea. Hobbs is going Cornell. I have zero idea, so flip a coin. Yale, I guess. I'll go Yale. Baseball. We're going to pick some baseball. Western Illinois at Iowa. I think Iowa has a pretty decent team. They're generally a pretty decent team. Yeah, you're a hockey. We're both.
Hey,
Hawkeye
no
fans.
Leathernecks are going to win this game. Go Hawks.
Hobbs also has Iowa. I will also complete that sweep with the Iowa Hawkeyes. Missouri Valley women's semifinal tournament game. Drake versus UNI. A couple of Iowa-based schools. Hobbs has Drake. What do you think, Eddie?
So I got a cousin who goes to Drake, and he plays on the scout team. So He plays against the girls' college team. Says they got a
okay.
good team. So let's go Bulldogs. Let's go Drake.
I'm kind of liking Drake but I'm going to pick UNI. If both you and Hobbs have Drake, I'll go UNI. I'll go.
Kathy
against the
Utterback
grain.
will be happy.
All right. And then our final game is the Big 12 Men's Championship game. Of course, Hobbs wanted to make sure that we knew that Iowa State was in the finals for the Big 12. Houston, the number 1 team in the land, against another top 10, if not top 5 team, Iowa State. Iowa State with a big win last night against Baylor. Hobbs had Iowa State. Who do you think?
I think they split this season. So I'm gonna have to go Iowa State. Keep it in Iowa. So go Cyclones.
I'm an Iowa fan, obviously, but when Iowa isn't playing Iowa State, I like to root for Iowa State.
Same.
I'm that type of a guy. I'm not like I don't hate Iowa State and everything. I think Houston will win. My heart hopes Iowa State wins just for the state of Iowa, but yeah, Houston's gonna win, so I'll say Houston. That'll give me and Hobbs something to argue about next week. That does it for our pick'ems. So, Eddie, hopefully you've had a good experience filling in as guest host of the sports section. I know you've done a great job this morning. Appreciate
Thank you
it.
very much, Steve. I appreciate it.
Yeah, so Eddie, filling in, you're on my list of fill-ins for the job here. And if you ever want to do it full time, just let me know too. We can. Eddie Conrad, our guest host. I believe Coach Hobbs will be back next week, and we'll be talking more sports here on the sports section. Again, live from Brothers Market, located at 118 South Main in Sigourney. And make sure you get that digital app and take advantage of the deals there. That does it for the sports section here on Steve Shuttler Media. We'll do it again next week at 8 a.m.